Hey Civ fans, Sean Wilson here, QA lead at Firaxis. You may recognize me from a couple of our live streams and the little videos we would send out talking about the game while we were early in development. Now I'm here today to talk about our updates for patch 1.2.3. Now this is a smaller update than June's, but one that hits a couple long requested features and lays the groundwork for some much larger changes we're working on that we mentioned in our last dev check-in. Let's start with a feature many of you have been asking for, Auto Explorer. Yes, it's finally here. We've mentioned before that scouts work a bit differently in Civ 7 than Civ 6, which is why we wanted players to have the opportunity to play with scouts' new abilities instead of adding in Auto Explorer right away. But we hear you. Sometimes it's easier to let the scouts and ships loose, allowing them to find discoveries, encounter a new civ, or walk right into danger. Here are all the units that have access to Auto Explorer.
Scouts of all ages, including their unique variants. Tier 2 and 3 naval units from the Exploration Age, including the Carrack and the Galleon. Note that this does not include the Tier 1 COG unit. And finally, all modern age naval units, excluding the submarine, which includes the Ironclad, Ship of the Line, Cruiser, Dreadnought, Destroyer, and Battleship.
A big thanks to everyone who took part in our feedback event on Discord. It helped shape what the first version of Auto Explorer looks like, and also the potential evolution of this feature down the road. We'll be keeping an eye on how this feels and plays out in practice. What's that? Oh, that's right. We're also introducing the first round of changes coming to the advisor warnings. These are the little pop-ups from your military, economic, scientific, or cultural advisors. Unless you've turned them off completely in your settings, you've probably seen them chime in on things like, another civilization is building the wonder you're going for, or your treasury is overflowing. We've been combing through a ton of players' feedback from our Discord event. Huge thanks if you've chimed in. And it seems like some of these messages were showing up too often or at weird moments, like getting a warning that nuclear weapons are available when you've already built a WMD in a bomber. So we've reopened the hood and made some initial fixes. Small stuff, but it should already feel a bit smoother. And we're not done. This is just the first pass in an effort to improve advisor warnings. More cleanup and tuning will roll out in future updates. In our dev update check-in, we mentioned that we have heard feedback from significant segments of our community that we needed to do more work on the abruptness of age transition, improving the overall game replayability, looking especially hard at the legacy paths, and search for new avenues to allow players to identify more deeply with their empire and its path through history. A lot of this work is brewing right now behind the scenes, but this month, our focus is especially on the age abruptness. Here's a quick look at what has changed. In 1.2.3, we've added a new advanced game setting to change how age transition behaves. This new default is called continuity, and the old transition setting is called regroup. Here's what you can expect with continuity on. Your units upgrade where they stand, rather than regroup back to your empire. If your units were on someone else's territory, they'll be expelled, like if you lost open borders, but they'll remain nearby. Ships and siege units will now carry over from antiquity to exploration, as well as settlers, migrants, scouts, and merchants in all ages. We've made changes to how your relationships with leaders evolve at transition. Players told us that diplomacy could feel a little jarring, like when you'd spend antiquity locked in conflict with Confucius, only for him to suddenly act like a polite stranger the moment you entered exploration. In this update, we've replaced those sudden relationship shifts with a more gradual change that pulls relationships back towards neutral over time. The further you are from zero, whether friend or foe, the greater the pull. In other words, time heals all wounds. If you don't interact with a player after a particularly nasty diplomatic incident, you won't be stuck in that hostile relationship forever. And on the flip side, if you want to maintain that alliance with your best friend across the border, don't forget to push a few positive endeavors now and then. Also, since there are more ways to damage ties currently than build them, we balanced things out by making the pool a bit stronger for when you're in a bad relationship as opposed to a good one. This change should make your relationship with other leaders feel a lot more natural, especially across age transitions. And some smaller but still impactful changes, catapults and merchants, are now available at the start of Exploration Age. Buildings now retain their full base yield and maintenance cost in Age Transition. They will still lose adjacencies and special effects. Independent powers will now spawn at the beginning of the age after an Age Transition. We'll continue to expand continuity mode in future updates, but we hope these initial changes help the next empire flow more smoothly between ages. As always, let us know how it feels. And one more change that should help tackle abruptness. We've added a 10 or more turn safe zone at the end of each age that guarantees you can finish your most critical tasks before the transition occurs. This countdown can be extended to 20 turns or turned off completely. No age progression from any source other than elapsed turns will be added while the countdown is active. And this should give you a little more warning so you know an age transition is coming up. Like I mentioned earlier, this is just the start. We're underway with more plans to improve key areas of the game and expand things with each and every update. Now, on to something that will be available for all players alongside 123. Trung Nhi, a unique commander. Our designers have had a long-time desire to give Trung Track a unique army commander, Trung Nhi, to represent their epic sisterhood. Trung Nhi has her own unique model, promotion tree, and functionality. And those are the highlights for 123. Like every update, you can expect plenty more and detailed changes that impact the UI, quality of life, AI, and game balance. There's a lot more in the update notes, so check them out soon for the full list of changes and improvements. And for those of you who own the Founders Edition of Civilization 7, the wait is over, as the Right to Rule collection rollout will begin with the release of 123. We hope you enjoy what's in this update, and including the new commander Trung Nhi. There's plenty more on the way, so keep leaving us your feedback and let us know how this update feels. We'll see you here next month, Civ fans.